Hello and happy Friday to everybody out there. Oh my gosh, the joy. You can feel it, John. It's in the air. People getting ready for that Labor Day weekend. So many of our 5-day-a-weekers out there running Monday through Friday. Now they can see the light. 3 days on the horizon for them, and they're so happy. And John, we're so happy to have you returning for this pre-Labor Day video. How are you today, sir?
I feel it in my fingers. I'm doing well.
Well, as long as you don't have spirit fingers, John, that is a bridge too far. Folks, as we get ready to go into this video, we hope that you do have at least one little spirit finger and that it clicks that like button. That sure would be nice. Let's get straight to it. Folks, as we dive in today, we want to let you know that we are in rumor and speculation territory. We have a track record that we believe in, but you have to decide whether or not you believe in the information we're relaying today, because we are not doing straight news analysis or production. We are into rumor territory. We're going to be talking about some stuff that is not yet out and won't be out for years. And that means we're talking about future products, and future products can always change. By the very nature of what we're doing today, take it with a grain of salt. John, this is an article out of TrekMovie.com. It is not new, but it leans into what we're going to discuss today, so we need to cover it. It says, Star Trek Picard showrunner Terry Matalas jumps to Marvel as showrunner for new Vision series. And yes, folks, this will have, well, just hang tight. We'll get to it. The third and final season of Star Trek Picard was a huge hit with fans and garnered showrunner Terry Matalas accolades and awards. What a turnaround that was. Since the show wrapped up last year, fans have been hoping Paramount Plus would move forward on a follow-up series, which Matalas has dubbed Star Trek Legacy. However, it now looks like the executive producer is going to be too busy, at least in the short term. John, this is one of the biggest coups that I think has happened in entertainment that nobody is talking about whatsoever. Essentially, Terry Matalas was he was the diamond in the rough for Paramount. And Disney came and snatched him. And Star Trek fans had this chance at having something amazing. He's now gone. He's gone over to Marvel. Matalas is working on the Vision show. That was the report from back then when this article came out. And that's what it says. Talks about how that's going to be coming out in 2026. Just stars Paul Bettany as Vision, the superhero, and that was what Matalas was supposed to be doing. John, can you talk to us just briefly about what Terry Matalas meant to the Star Trek community and why people were excited about the chance that he might continue working on it?
So, from my understanding, I'm not a big Trekkie, but from my understanding is there were 2 seasons of Star Trek Picard which were absolutely abysmal. They were basically ruining the Next Generation, kind of destroying the characters, doing everything that Lucasfilm did with the sequel trilogy in Star Trek Picard in this show. And then they brought in Terry Matalas, and he seemingly salvaged a lot of it, or did the best that he could, and really kind of brought back a lot of those people who enjoy those original Star Trek episodes, or at least the Next Generation series. I think a lot of people, there's a lot of crossover from the original series to Next Generation, and really like how he did that. And I think that was kind of galvanizing and brought a lot of hope back to the Star Trek franchise after kind of years of it deteriorating under Alex Kurtzman in Star Trek Discovery, and then obviously in Star Trek Picard, which had kind of a revolving door of showrunners for the first for all 3 seasons, until obviously with Matalas there in the 3rd season. So I think that's kind of what he meant to Star Trek. And obviously, read that article there was a lot of hope that he would go on and do this kind of Star Trek Legacy show. I think he had actually been kind of encouraging that from the fan base to try and get them to greenlight that, but it does not look like that is in the cards, at least at this point. But we know things change, and we've seen a lot of that change happening just this year with Kang the Conqueror being sidelined by Marvel and Doom being brought in. So, as you said, these things do change, and they can change quite rapidly.
Yes, especially depending on the circumstances. As you said, everybody thought that Jonathan Majors was going to be the next big thing. At least that's what we were told by the Hollywood intelligentsia. We here had our doubts.
Marvel.
Out of Collider, though, this is the story that we have a source who has reached out to us. The source has been right in the past. The folks were out in speculation territory because, well, we can't substantiate this. But this is the article that we were pointed to that is a big deal. We'll explain why in just a moment. This is by Rob London. It says, Bryce Dallas Howard shares a disappointing update on her Witch Mountain TV series. Some of you out there are saying, what in the world does this have to do with what you were just discussing? Hang tight. We'll show you. This is why other channels, other commentators have not yet put these pieces together, I believe. Witch Mountain, the Disney Plus revival of the classic science fiction property, has not escaped the streamer's budget cuts. The series based on the novel and film series Escape to Witch Mountain was set to star Bryce Dallas Howard and even filmed a pilot episode. Unfortunately, according to Howard, it will now not lead to a series. Howard revealed the news during a panel at Fan Expo Canada in Toronto, moderated by Collider's Maggie Lovett. When asked about the show's status, Howard delivered the bad news. She said, "It is not happening," which is disappointing. It was a really great groove, and we really all enjoyed shooting it here in Toronto. Some things make it, some things don't. That's the unfortunate truth of this industry. John, I'm told this actually went pretty darn well. The pilot was great. But why then did they cancel this? And why, considering how desperate Disney Plus is right now for content? Was it just about budgets? Is Disney impoverished and penny pinching? Are they hanging on to every single pence they can? Well, take a look at this next paragraph. The series was set to star Howard as Audrey, whose teen daughter, Tia, begins exhibiting strange mental abilities. It was also to star Levi Miller, Bianca B. Norwood, and Jackson Kelly. Here's the line you need. And was written and executive produced by Star Trek Picard's Travis Fickett and Terry Matalas. John, what I'm hearing from my source, and again, this does take us into rumor territory, things can change, but what I'm hearing is that Terry Matalas he was needed, his talents were needed in other places of Disney, specifically Marvel. What I'm hearing is that Disney execs, Marvel execs, they are big, big fans now of what Matalas did with Picard. They see it as a way to correct what has happened with the MCU, that they can do a soft reset, and but they don't have to come out and make any kind of apology as to what they were attempting to do, which is what they believe in, the MCU. But they think that Matalas is the man for the job. And John, what I'm hearing is that Terry Matalas, the savior of Star Trek, well, he may be now more involved with the Avengers movies, with the Russo brothers, and it's not just Vision anymore. John, what do you make of this latest scoop, and what do you think it means for Marvel?
So first off, I think one of the more interesting parts, aside from anything having to do with Marvel, is the fact that they filmed the pilot and it was canceled. We know that that is something that Marvel TV was doing, that they were completely restructuring, and they were going to go back to this pilot structure instead of basically just greenlighting shows and just dumping a bunch of money. So it looks like that might be something that's happening not just at Marvel, but happening across the board at Disney. I think that is huge news on how they are kind of restructuring how they do streaming and how they do television in general. So I think that is that's big news in and of itself. As far as the Marvel stuff, we'll see. I mean, there's still a lot of things here. Obviously, Vision is going to be spinning out of WandaVision. I'm not sure how people view that anymore. I never really liked the show to begin with, even when it came out. I think a lot of people soured on it, especially how it ended up depicting Scarlet Witch basically enslaving an entire population of a town and not really having any kind of comeuppance for doing that. They've spun out Agatha all along. That show looks like it might be even more dead than Echo. When John, it comes out, I think...
Please, I have to do after parties for Agatha. Don't remind me how the misery we're about to be in. Oh.
So the fact that they're still doing the Vision thing still kind of has me on the fence here. Obviously, he does have a seemingly decent pedigree, but again, it's just one season of one show with Star Trek. At least from my experience, I'm not sure what else he has done, and if it's been any good or well received or anything like that. So I still think that there are a lot of big questions regarding what they move forward. We still don't really know a lot of what their big plans are. We've heard rumors, previous rumors about how they are going to be doing this soft reboot with Secret Wars, etc. And that's going to allow them to pick and choose kind of the heroes and characters that they want to go through. We do know Kevin Feige has said that they will not probably be featuring a lot of those Phase 4 characters that audiences clearly did not like and rejected, whether that was on Disney Plus or on the big screens, things like Eternals, things like the gender-swapped Taskmaster, etc. So this could be part of that pattern of them kind of moving away from a lot of that Phase 4 stuff and moving forward. But again, it does seem like there's still a lot of ties to that, which is kind of goes to your point on what you said about this is still the thing that they believe in. And we see that across the Walt Disney Company. They're still pushing a lot of this stuff in a lot of their properties. It is still there. It's still in the parks. It's still on their shows. It's in everything they kind of do. So we'll see. It's hard for me to get excited about the MCU at this point until they really show me something that says that they are not doing this stuff anymore. And at this point, I haven't seen anything like that whatsoever.
You know, you make great points, and I'm reminded of Michael Waldron, who was the golden boy of Marvel, brought in from Rick and Morty. And you could kind of see Waldron subverted at every chance he would work on these properties. Loki comes to mind, for example. The first 2 episodes of Loki, some of the greatest television drama I've ever seen. Now, that sounds silly, but that's because the rest of the series was garbage. And so you saw Waldron come in and do this wonderful job, this wonderful setup. And then after that, it turned into nonstop virtue signal pandering, and it was off the rails, and it was ridiculous and stupid. And it really never found its footing. Season 2, the finale was decent, but of course, Short Round came in to save the day. But you know, it destroyed Loki. The question is, will they let Terry Matalas do a good job, or will they get in there and fiddle with everything and want to, you know, cover this in the alphabet of every single virtue signal there is? We shall see. John, I want to ask you, though, a question that I find fascinating about all of this, and that is, with the Disney company, largely, and I mean, just remember, Snow White hit 1 million dislikes yesterday. The trailer hit 1 million dislikes. It is Rebecca Black Friday levels of fear. The rest of the company, yeah, got to get, never mind. Anyway, listen, the rest of the company, the rest of Disney seems to be on track to just continue pursuing the woke agenda without any stoppage. Marvel, we keep hearing these rumors that might be coming to an end. If that's true, John, what do you think is going on? Why do you think Marvel might be the one segment of Disney that has learned something and the rest learn the wrong lesson every time?
I don't know. That's a really tough question to answer. It's possible that they see the writing on the wall with everything else that's happening. I mean, you can look across the board. You don't even have to look at movies or television. You can look at video games. We're seeing these games die on the vine. You can look at Concord. You can look at this new game, Dustborn. You can look at Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. There are active boycotts against these games that have the DEI, the woke agenda in it, and they are working extraordinarily. I think there's been a soft boycott against Marvel, against Star Wars, against a lot of the Disney stuff for a while now, because they are pushing a lot of this stuff as well. So I think maybe they're seeing that. That could be a possibility. There are some people there at Marvel, and maybe they're siloed enough that they can make their own independent decisions outside of some of the other things, because they are kind of the golden boy of the Walt Disney Company at this point. So that could be something there. I think there's also might be something inherent about superheroes that it's kind of against like woke ideology just in general. It doesn't really make sense when you're supposed to be fighting for truth and justice, right? Obviously, Superman is truth, justice, in the American way, and in the American way, that's obviously a DC character. But for the most part, even with Marvel, you're fighting for truth and justice, and you're fighting against criminals and things like that.
Okay, pause there, John. You've inspired me. Let me insert this thought, and you run with it. What if the reason that they are willing to make the shift at Marvel but nowhere else is because Marvel's about to face DC, and Superman is truth, justice, in the American way, and they actually have some fear that Superman Legacy could take off and DC could slaughter the golden goose. I'm just throwing it out there. Your thought?
It's definitely possible. I mean, I think Netflix did a really good job. They have this series that's been around for a while now. It's the Toys That Made Us, and they talk about how, I think it's the Barbie one actually, where the executives at Mattel and Hasbro, they knew what was going on, and they were always trying to like one up each other because they knew what the other one was doing, so they were trying to get their product out ahead of time to make sure that they couldn't, like, the other company couldn't kill their product, etc. So that is a possibility. I definitely feel like we've seen stuff in the past like that could indicate that. I think that Kevin Feige knows that James Gunn did indeed hit a home run with Guardians of the Galaxy. Even when Marvel's brand was kind of down, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was still able to bring in a significant box office gross, even after the abysmal failure of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So I definitely feel like there is a possibility of that threat there because they're familiar with James Gunn, right? They also fired him and then they fired him. DC got him and then brought him back. But at the same time, like he did go to DC already and then came back for Guardians. He did the Suicide Squad movie, which obviously was released during COVID, but didn't seem to really garner that much excitement. We'll see with Superman. So I definitely think there's a possibility there. But at the same time, I don't know if I would really be that worried. But it is possible that Superman really... Gunn hits it really out of the park with Superman like he did with the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But at the same time, I haven't really seen James Gunn really do heroic characters all that well.
Oddball. That's sort of his brand, is the oddball character, the lovable loser who comes in the moment of need. In fact, all the Guardians appear to be in some form deeply flawed characters. Clark Kent, Superman, definitely not that. John, we'll get our answer very soon because Marvel going up against Superman Legacy with just a 2-week difference this summer of 2025, so a year from now. So we'll have that answer, and word on the street is right now that we might get a Superman Legacy trailer release during the Super Bowl. So DC and Warner Brothers getting ready to spend some money. We shall see, folks. Terry Matalas, though, working more closely with Marvel. That is the potential scoop of the day. We hope you... we'll take that and run with it and let us know, folks, what you believe down in the comments below. John, I also want to give you a special thanks and shout out. ThatParkPlace.com continues to just blow away all expectations in terms of readership and growth. You are the best in the business, and I am in tremendous appreciation of your devotion to truth with a capital T. You do a great job of bringing out what everyone needs to know in pop culture. And, of course, pop culture is... what would you say? It is where we are all in society trying to find the fun of our everyday. It is the battleground right now, beyond politics, of where people want the attention, the focus of individuals to be. John, thank you. Do you have anything you'd like to share about thatparkplace.com in terms of how things are going? Or feel free to talk about the Trent Report as well.
So thatparkplace.com is having a record month. This is our most viewed month. We have the most page views we've ever had.
You keep telling me that every month, John. You got to stop at some point. You got to stop breaking records, man.
It's true. We beat the record in July, which was the previous record. So things are doing really well there. Obviously, we have a much more heavy focus on kind of video games, but we do movies and television, and we're finding that niche that we're in there. So we're glad to be a part of that, being able to bring that to you guys. We're appreciative of all the readers. Obviously, we still do the theme park stuff. Marvin has been doing a great job on that. Marvin, the Movie Monsters, have been doing a great job with that. So things are going really well. I'm really pleased with how the site is going. Same with the Trent Report is doing really well. We just got over 8,000 subscribers, I think last week, might have been early this week. So really pleased with how that is going as well. And things are going well there. I usually cover a lot of the articles that I write over there on that channel. So if you're interested in becoming a member there and helping support that YouTube channel, you can. We do have memberships. With a number of levels, so you can come and help support that. So, but things are going really good, and I'm really appreciative. And as you like to say, we wouldn't be able to do this without the people that are reading and watching. What is it? They are the gigawatts. There you go.
Hey, John, you said something fascinating. You said that the website was originally envisioned to be a theme park news and pop culture news thing, but it's really morphed lately and breaking records into covering games. Now, that's not the entire focus, but as of late, it's become more the focus. I don't think people fully understand yet what's happening where the gaming industry, which is 13 times the size of the film industry. Remember that, folks, 13 times. It is under siege by people who want to turn it into a woke fiesta. They are destroying something that is 13 times the size of film and theaters, and they are destroying it. Game after game after game. Absolutely. Just sweet babying the living daylights out of it. And I'm afraid we're going to have an economic collapse inside the gaming industry. So it's really, really good that you're covering it as you are now.
Yeah, I think we're already kind of seeing a lot of that too. I mean, over the past couple of years, there have been massive layoffs from a lot of these big studios. I think they still have, it's very similar to what we see with Marvel, with Star Wars, with the Walt Disney Company, with all of these major studios. They have massive bloated budgets that they don't really need. And people aren't going to purchase the products. Like we see the box office returns just aren't there. And you're seeing the same thing with video games. People aren't purchasing these games to the extent they need to cover the costs. The most recent one, obviously, being Firewalk Studios, and which is a subsidiary of PlayStation Studios, Concord. 5v5 hero shooter. I think estimates are that it at least cost $100 million, could potentially be more. I've seen this number 200 million floated around. I think that's kind of based off of salaries where the studio is located in Washington, average salaries for video game developers up there. And game clearly does not have an audience at all. Just to show you how bad it was, in the open beta when it was free, it had less than 2,500 concurrent players. When it released, which you had to pay $40 to purchase this game, when it released, and it hasn't gone over this, it only hit 697, I think. It didn't even get over 700 concurrent. So it had like a 70% decline from the open beta when it was free, and it has not. I think it finally went into the 200s for concurrent on Steam. So it's getting really bad, and gamers are actually standing up to this stuff. We are forcing these game companies, these developers, to not create these things anymore, because when they do create these things, they are financial disasters, financial failures. We know Warner Brothers Discovery had to take a $200 million impairment charge for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League just earlier this year, and it has really tanked their video game segment for the entire year. And they knew this all the way at the beginning of the year when it released in February. And it's not just big companies, right? You have Remedy, which is a much smaller company. Alan Wake 2 still has not been profitable for them despite releasing in October. So it's been over a year, and they still have not made any kind of revenue or profit from that game. They're trying to save this company. They just announced that they're going to be doing movie adaptations of the game, but which kind of just shows you, right, how desperate they are. They're trying to get in bed with the failing movie studios to save their video games that are dying on the vine.
Yeah, and I would just recommend to people out there, we don't go political here, but from a philosophical standpoint, you just need to know that when consumer choices do not match with political representation choices, you can bet that the woke authoritarians are going to do everything they can to maintain power. I think that is self-evident to anybody who's paying close attention. Folks, we'll cover it as best we can, understanding that sometimes we have to dance it around a little bit to be able to say the things that need to be said here on the platform. Folks, you can help us send this out all across the grand YouTube waves. Click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And we will be live streaming Star Wars Outlaws with Clayface K-Vess, Jonas J. Campbell, and Culture Casino over on That Game Place. Folks, I know how they screwed up that face. I might make an appearance to talk about it from back in my 3D animation days. It took me days, John, to figure out what in the world is going on with her facial animations that make her face look like putty, because that is some kind of special mistake someone made. I figured it out. We'll have to talk about it. Folks, we're going to see you real soon. Get over there and subscribe to the Trent Report. And if you're not yet bookmarked to thatparkplace.com, you should be. Until next time, have a great Labor Day. Stay safe, make the world a better place, and take care of those you love. Folks, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
I just found out to get WDW Pro's information, where he gets his sources. I can't believe he uses Wilton!
What?
We got a job to do. It's easy to hack into WDW Pro's computer.
You're kidding me. That's awesome. You know any other stuff?
Yeah, just Jonas Campbell told me.
Sweet.
Said Pro underpaid him or something.
A few minutes later.
There. Oh, awesome. Whatever. All I gotta do is hack into this thing. It's gonna be so easy.
Yeah, this isn't
All
a
right,
hack.
grab this picture over here.
Leave it to me.
No, Wilson.
Job done. What?
No, all we had to do was use the picture because he uses face unlock. Now we gotta go to thatparkplace.com and sub to him and his team on YouTube.
Oh, well, I already did that because I'm smart.